I feel like all we hear about is the Fed. The Fed is meeting. What will the Fed do? How do they actually control the dollar?
The main tool in their toolkit is setting interest rates. And the general rule is pretty simple. When the Fed raises interest rates, the dollar tends to get stronger.
Okay, hold on. That's the part I think a lot of us miss. Why? Why does a rate decision in Washington make the dollar stronger against, say, the euro or the yen?
It all comes down to chasing profitability. International investors think massive pension funds, banks, or even wealthy individuals are always looking for the best return on their money. If the US starts offering higher interest rates on its bonds, it's like a giant flashing sign that says better returns here.
So global money just flows into the US.
Precisely. More foreign capital flows into the country to chase those higher returns. But to buy those US assets, what do they need?
US dollars.
They need US dollars. And that increased demand for dollars automatically pushes the dollar's value up. The analogy I love is to think of the US as a restaurant. If you suddenly start offering a higher quality meal for the same price or a big discount, you're going to attract more customers. When the US offers high interest rates, it's attracting more global investors.
That makes perfect sense. And we just saw this happen, right?
A perfect textbook example. In 2022, the Fed aggressively hiked interest rates to fight that soaring inflation we just talked about. And what happened? The dollar strengthened significantly against almost every other major currency. So if you want to anticipate where the dollar is going, you have to watch the Fed. Their announcements are like lighthouses for the currency's path.
Okay, so we have inflation as the thief and the Fed as the doctor raising rates. What's the third factor? You said economic growth and confidence.
Right. This one is a little softer, but just as important. The dollar is more than just money. It's really a reflection of global confidence in the health of the U.S. economy.
What does that look like in practice?
It means when the U.S. economy looks strong, when its GDP is growing, unemployment is low, and it's innovating, investors want to be there. They feel safe parking their capital in the U.S. That confidence creates a greater demand for dollars.
Can you give me an example of that?
A fascinating one is what happened right after the 2008 financial crisis. Now think about that. The crisis started in the US. It was a severe domestic problem.
You'd think the dollar would have collapsed.
You'd think, but it remained relatively strong. Why? Because compared to a fractured Europe or other volatile emerging economies, the world still viewed the US as the least risky option.